Hello, high school hockey fans, and welcome to another edition of This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey. I am your temporary fill-in host, Bill Berg Jr. This week, joining us are the founder, Bill Berg, and the newest old man, Dan Bauer. MJ Hammett is on assignment this week and cannot join us. We'll get started right away this week with our games of the week. Bergler was over in Eau Claire to see Superior take on Notre Dame Academy.
Yes, I think it said it was either the 13th or the 19th installment of the uh, Memorial Meltdown. The same four teams have been going over there: Wausau West, Notre Dame, Superior, and Eau Claire Memorial. The first game of the varsity action was our game of the week, Notre Dame versus Superior, and but Notre Dame doesn't look like they've lost a step from last year. They are just fast and crisp with their passing. Superior was bigger and a little more physical, but Notre Dame was just quick. I mean, when Superior would get the puck in the Notre Dame zone, if somebody on the Notre Dame squad got a hold of the puck, like two passes and they're already on their way down the ice. Conversely, Superior had a tough time getting their passes to connect, and they ended up staying in their zone probably a little longer than they would have liked. Um, Notre Dame did outshoot them 46-25 and outscored them 4-2. But Superior came out, like I said, they were bigger and they were stronger and they were playing physical, and they got into some penalty trouble early. Uh, Notre Dame's second goal was actually on a 5-on-3 power play. But after they took their Superior's fourth penalty, apparently they got the memo that there were in not really in southern Wisconsin, but not in the wilds of the north, and they adjusted their game, and actually Notre Dame got the next three penalties then, and Superior kind of stayed out of the box from that point. But it's a good game. Back and forth. Let's say a little more shots, a little more pressure from Notre Dame than from Superior. But all in all, it was a good. Well, I guess it wasn't an opening game. I think they each had played one game before that coming in. But then Superior. Oh, I forget what happened on Saturday. I know Notre Dame beat Memorial 2-1 on Saturday, and I'm not sure who won the. Last time I looked, they didn't have who won the
They still
West.
don't.
They still don't have who won the West End Superior game. So we don't know that. We don't know that Notre Dame won the tournament. They beat Memorial 2-1. And again, they doubled up on shots, but no goals were scored in that game until the third period. So again, Notre Dame, at least preliminarily, looks like they're the team to beat again this year.
All right. And then on the girls' side, Dan went down to Ice Hawks Arena in Stevens Point to see the Wisconsin Valley Union take on Central Wisconsin. Take it away, Dan.
Yeah, the Storm obviously defending state champions. Have some question marks coming into the year, having lost both their senior goalies for different reasons, and now are depending upon two freshmen coming in this year. And they really came out fast. They had, I think, six shots on goal before Wisconsin Valley had registered one, and really kind of controlled the pace of the game. Probably about the first 5 minutes. The Storm took a penalty, and then Wisconsin Valley kind of got their legs under them a little bit and turned the game a little bit. Went from being outshot 6-0 at the end of the period. It was 10-10. So it was a pretty even period after that opening barrage when the Storm came out. Second period, you could see the Storm, slowly start to sort of, impose their will on them, and they got got a goal early. Jaden Yurkovsky, really nice player, sophomore, ended up with two goals on the game. Ava Whitmore scored, and then one of their seniors who has not had a lot of time at the varsity level, Malia Barigi, got a goal to make it 3-0 at the end of the second period. And the third period was just kind of they controlled most of the action. Wisconsin Valley got a goal about midway through the third. Campbell Spees got in on a breakaway and scored on a nice goal. But you could see during the course of the game that the Storm prides themselves on really trying to outwork teams, and I think they clearly and demonstrated that that's going to be their mantra again this year. They're just very quick to the puck and up and down the ice. I thought they really played unselfishly, moved the puck really well. And I think that from the Union side, they've got some really nice young players, but I'm not sure some of them are quite ready for prime time yet. And you could see that the pace sometimes was a problem for them, and just the decision making, getting that clock in their head to make decisions a little bit quicker wasn't there when it needed to be. And so I think the Storm looked good. They really moved the puck to the back door nicely, which is a great strategy nowadays with the way how good goaltenders are, is trying to get them moving. And they're freshmen. I watched a little bit on Live Barn. There are two games this weekend too, and their freshman goalies look very poised and very relaxed out there. And they're 3-0, so they're off to a really good start.
All right, thanks, Dan. Burglar also caught up on another game this week, another one that's close to home. He headed over to Shawano to see Shawamigan Phillips take on Shawano.
Yes, I did. Brett and I went over there. I'd not been to the rink in Shawano. I think I brought a Pee Wee team there once when I was coaching Pee Wees. I don't think I've been back there since. And Shawamigan Phillips, it seemed like it'd be an interesting, Division two game. And I kind of have to echo what Dan said about, some of the freshmen not quite being ready for prime time. Because Shawamigan Phillips, uh, 8 of their 15 rostered players are freshmen. They only had one senior on the team, uh, 3 juniors, and 2 sophomores. Everybody else was a freshman, including both of their goaltenders were freshmen. So they've got a little bit of adjustment to make before they're going to be competitive yet. It's a big jump going from bantams uh, to high school hockey. And I mean, technically, half of this team should still be second year bantams. So instead, they're playing varsity hockey. Um, but I always thought when I was a coach and also as a goalie parent that I was always nervous until the goalie got his first save of the game. 'Cause you never really know. And the score was 1-1 before either goalie recorded a save. I mean, um, Shano came down and scored in like 30 seconds on a play that would be very familiar, pass from the corner to the front of the net and one timer in. I think they had about a half a dozen of those in this game, and then Schwamigan Phillips turned around and went right back the other way, and scored. So it was 2 goal, 1-1 with less than a minute to play. It was less than a minute into the game, where people weren't even settled into their seats yet. But Schwamigan had a couple of good players. They had some good players on their team. Couple of guys that stood out. Will Kraus, I think he was their captain. He's a junior. Kellen Kranig, he's a sophomore, but he's a freshman also. Um, but he was doing a nice job out there. He had a goal and an assist. Angelina Bebo. There are 2 girls on the Shawamigan Phillips team. Apparently, they aren't part of any co-op with any girls' teams. So, 2 girls on the Shawamigan team, and she had a goal and assist also. And Shano, I think we saw Shauna play when they first got back into the WIAA. We went to their game.
We went to their game against East Merrill at Marathon Park.
Yeah. They've come a long way since then. They're good. They're fast. They move the puck well. They got a very nice team in Shawano. Yeah, they've a couple of guys this I mean, like Gavin Hunt had 2 goals and 2 assists. Jeremy Helmuth had a goal and 3 assists. Blake Swedberg had a goal and 2 assists. So they really moved the puck well. Like I said, I don't know whether it was, lack of defense or, on the part of Schwamigan, but they kept passing the puck to the front of the net and one time in it. Just bang, bang plays before the goalie really even had a chance to get set up at all. So it was a fun game. Score kind of got out of hand. I think it ended up 8-2. Um, but it was worth the trip. It was fun.
The last girl I remember from Schwaming and Phillips was, of course, Kristen Pekacek, goaltender, who went on to play at St. Kate's NCAA D3, where her lowest save percentage in 4 years was .934. So, there's a lot to live up to there. Moving on from our other games that we watched, just some conversations. We want to talk about the start of the girls' season with Dan.
Yeah, just looking at how things got underway and a lot of good goaltending to start the year. There's been 15 shutouts already this year out of 37 games. And I thought that was pretty significant. Arrowhead's off to a really great start. They're undefeated at 4-0. They have not allowed a goal yet this year. Brookfield's also 4-0. I think they've allowed 2 goals this year. They have a power play right now. It's at 44%. I know it's early, but that's pretty surprising and pretty good. Lakeshore Lightning, 5-0. They've used 3 different goalies this year already, and they have 4 of the top 4 goal scorers in the state right now. Superior's at 2-0 out, started 2-0, but has actually been outshot both games, which kind of surprised me. Eau Claire outshot them and Chippewa both outshot them, but Superior managed to win both. The Storm, as we said, off to a 3-0 start. Again, a very talented team. Gabby Heiser, one of their seniors, just crossed the 100 career point mark and scored one of her patent shorthanded goals in the weekend at the Gobbler Cup. And I would be surprised if she doesn't lead the state in shorthanded goals by the time the year's over. And of course, Bay Area, can't forget about them. They're very loaded with upperclassmen. They are also undefeated at 3-0 and have allowed just 27 shots on goal the entire year so far. So 3 games, they're averaging, less than 10 shots on goal a game. So they've been very good. It'll be interesting to see as they move along. Couple teams with really off to tough starts. Eau Claire, Altoona, they're 0-3, but the 3 games they've lost, 3 really good teams. They lost 2-1 to Superior, 2-0 to Hayward, and 2-1 to University School. So they haven't allowed more than 2 goals in a game, but just can't find a way to get the puck in the net. And then Cap City, of course, was in the state tournament last year. Started off rough, and they're off to a rough start again this year. They're 0-4. Have only scored 2 goals in their first 4 games, and actually they lost again tonight, I think 3-2 to the Warbirds. So they're gonna be 0-5 right now. So yeah, just some interesting things going on. Some teams off to some really hot starts, and some teams struggling a little bit out of the gate, and some important games coming up this week.
All right, thank you, Dan. Moving on from there, I'm sure most people know by now that Cornerstone Community Center is expanding. They're building a 3,000 seat arena there at Cornerstone, and Burglar's going to say a little bit about that.
Well, we touched on it last week. Well, actually, you and I heard first about it last week. Dan informed us. And while I was over in Eau Claire, I did get a chance to talk to Brian Brandt, the Wausau West head coach and the head of the Wisconsin Coaches Association, and he's well aware of the timeline. They hope to have that new rink up and running for the start of the hockey season next fall, and they've already done their preliminaries, whatever they have to do, put in an application to, move the state tournament there. So the coaches are doing what they can to get it moved there, and uh, we just know that that's one of many steps and several hurdles they have to, get over in order to actually move it there. The WIAA isn't always quick on their feet to change things, but I think everybody knew that the the Capitol Ice, Bob Suter's Capitol Ice Center was, a stopgap solution, to fill in until something better comes along. And this certainly does look like it's something better. And I say the coaches have already, got the ball moving on their part to get it moved there.
Now, whether or not the WIAA agrees, or the fans agree, or anybody else agrees, is a whole nother conversation. They like that we want to keep it in Madison excuse.
Well, I mean, it's been in Green Bay before. The first state tournament I went to, way back in when my brother was playing, was in Green Bay. As was the following year. Um, and girls basketball is in Green Bay the following week. So I think they just did volleyball in Green Bay. So yeah, they're not all in Madison.
Yeah, Green Bay seems to be a location that they're okay with. You're right. The basketball is there and volleyball is there. So I don't think it would be a big surprise to see them.
And for some sections, the travel to Green Bay is a little less extreme. Sure, the
Yeah.
Madison area sectional has to go further, but not so much further than the Superior one has to go to come down to Madison. At least I don't think. I'd have to look at the map and do the Google Maps on that, but
Yeah, and there might, I don't know, there might even be the possibility at Cornerstone that if they continue to keep the boys and girls on the same weekend, which I feel like they will, I don't think they should, but that's another discussion. They would possibly even be able to play maybe some of the girls' games on the St. Norbert rink and might have enough seating to accommodate what they need. So be interesting. It might alleviate some of the crunch for ice when you have all of them there at the same time.
well, we'll see what happens. If you build it, they will
One
come.
step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come, and that's the we're going for right now. Now we will move into our first Best Western Premier Park Hotel Players of the Week with Burglar.
Yes, for our first player of the week on the boys' side, Wyatt Earhart, forward for Middleton. Middleton has 2 games so far this season, um, but already Wyatt has got 8 goals and 3 assists. In a 6-2 win over Madison Memorial, he had 4 goals and an assist. And on Saturday, in a 7-4 win over Sauk Prairie, he had 4 goals and 2 assists. So out of the 13 goals that Middleton has scored in the 2 games, he's scored 8 of them himself, and assisted on 3 more. So he's been involved in 11 out of the 13 goals for Middleton, and that was enough to get our attention and make him the Best Western Premier Park Hotel Player of the Week on the boys' side. On the girls' side, we got a nomination. It's a reminder that if you know of somebody who's had good week. By week, we basically go Monday through Sunday. Rarely do teams play on Sunday. I think there were a couple of games just yesterday because of the Thanksgiving tournaments and stuff. But yeah, Monday through Sunday is the time frame for this first one. We sometimes go a little bit longer, but it's basically all the games up until yesterday. And our girls player of the week, uh, Macy Blooming, a goaltender for Brookfield Glacier. In 3 games, she gave up 1 goal on 84 shots. On Saturday, the 23rd, in a 2-1 win over Cap City, she had 24 saves or 23 saves on 24 shots, and then a pair of shutouts um, in a weekend tournament. 4-0 shutout of Beaver Dam where she had 26 saves, and another 4-0 shutout of Cap City where she had 34 saves. So Macy Blooming is our Best Western Premier Park Hotel Girls Player of the Week.
She was one of our Jesse Vetter Award finalists last year, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and they had another the Glacier had another goalie also, and Macy split time between playing net and playing forward. They had her list. They still have her listed as a goalie slash forward. It's like I think it's because when if the other goalie's going to play, um, they don't need to. They're better off having her in regular skates on the ice than sitting on the bench in goalie pads.
Yeah, the other goalie played on because two of those games that Macy just played, the two shutouts were both on Friday after Thanksgiving. So she played a doubleheader on Friday, and then Saturday the other goalie went in and played. Kind of like you put the other catcher in the day game after a night game. 3 games in 2 days is a lot of squatting. All right, and then a programming update. Top sixes. I will send the form up to coaches on Friday, so they will be the first top six of the season will be next week. The 9th is usually a little earlier than we start, but the 16th, which would be the following week, is a little later than we usually start. So I made the executive decision that we will start the top six next week.
Yeah, somebody asked me about that. They said we usually wait until they got 6 games in, and I think after this week there will be several teams that will have 6 games in. Not all of them, but several of them will already. So I think we're good to go.
All right, and then our upcoming games of the week, both of them are on Tuesday. So tomorrow, since this will be coming out on Monday, um, Dan will be at Eau Claire area in Hudson, and Burglar will be at Bayport versus Spash for our girls and boys games of the week. You guys looking forward to those?
I
Yeah,
am. Bayport has been very tough, and they unfortunately we haven't seen them at state because they're always battling tooth and nail and seem to lose to Notre Dame in overtime in the sectional final the last couple of years. So they've always had a good squad, and Spash, as I recall, Spash has had a fairly young squad, and they should be maturing, and I think they're ready to make a splash, if you will.
yeah, I think they have a very strong team. One of my former players is one of the assistant coaches over there, and talked to him, and they have some high hopes for this year, and a lot of kids back. So yeah, I think they're looking like one of the teams to beat in that always unbelievably tough Section 1 on the boys' side. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Hudson. I mean, perennially they're just always there. They're always tough. They always play well. The only team on the girls' side that's just fed by one high school, so that makes them unique. And Eau Claire, I just feel like, if they can find a way to score some goals, they have a lot of seniors. And I just think that they're, maybe it's looking for them opportunity to break out here. Brookfield, also Tuesday night, not game of the weeks, but other ones that I'm kind of interested in. They're gonna host USM. I think that should be good. Fox Cities travels to play the Lightning again. Lakeshore 5-0. I know Fox Cities will be in the mix this year, so that should be an interesting game. And then Friday, Arrowhead will take their undefeated mark against the Storm down at USM, so that should be an interesting game also coming up this week.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, Burglar, you'll have to talk to Mike Buchan, former coach of Bayport, who's now listed as the assistant coach this year, as he is the new head coach of the Bay Area Ice Bears. When I looked at the Bayport roster, I think it was a week before the start of the season, Mike was listed as the co-head coach of Bayport, but now he's listed as the assistant coach. But he is, the head of the Ice Bears now this year, switching from boys hockey to girls hockey with his head coaching duties. See how it is pulling double duty. Does he just live at Cornerstone now? All right, and that is all for this week. Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
No, I'm excited about the weekend. I'm gonna go over and watch Augsburg play Gustavus. So my daughter's coaching at Augsburg, so I'll be over and watch them play a home game on Friday, and then up at St. Peter on Saturday. So big series for them. Augsburg's currently 8th in the country, and Gustavus is 5th. So it'll be fun to go and see that game this weekend. So I won't be catching any high school games on the weekend, but I'll try to get to a couple during the week here.
Well, I will be coaching mites on Tuesday and Thursday, and then on Friday I will be spending my evening with Raja Aylesworth, head coach of Arrowhead High School, for the first half of my USA Hockey Level 3 coaching clinic, which I will complete next week.
But then on Saturday,
I will be taking in University School against Wausau West up here at Marathon Park.
yeah, I think they do a home and home alternate every year. They've been playing each other for a while.
Yeah, USM and Waukesha either come up here and play Everest and Wausau, or Everest and Wausau go down and play USM and Waukesha. So yeah, Waukesha will also be at DC Everest on Saturday, but I'm going to the Wausau West one because I can see DC Everest anytime I want.
But I don't think USM is playing Everest on Friday. I think that's Marquette. If I'm not mistaken.
It's a battle of Wausau against the greater Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
Marathon County versus the greater Milwaukee area.
Yeah, it is Marquette playing Everest.
Well, all right. If there's nothing else, then I will say thank you and goodbye to Dan Bauer and Bill Berg. I am Bill Berg Jr. You've been listening to This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey.